The alien queen smiled. "My kiss is fatal." I smiled back. "Worth the risk." Alex Carter walked across the landing platform, his boots clicking softly on the metal floor. The air smelled different here, sharp and metallic, with a hint of something sweet he could not name. The planet below stretched endlessly, a desert of strange colors that shifted from green to orange as the sun moved across the sky. He had traveled across half the galaxy to reach this place, a world that no human had set foot on before, a world ruled by a species that could kill with a single touch. His heart beat faster, not out of fear, but out of excitement. Humans had always been explorers, but this mission was different. Alex was not here to trade or negotiate simple deals. He was here to meet the queen herself, Zalara, the alien monarch whose name alone inspired dread across multiple star systems. Stories about her were terrifying. They said she could kill a grown alien by merely brushing against them. Her kiss, if given, could stop a heart instantly. Yet Alex had not flinched when they briefed him in the human command ship. He had smiled. The thought of stepping into danger did not scare him, it thrilled him. Humans had always faced impossible odds, and they had always survived. The doors to the palace opened before him, sliding silently into the walls. He stepped inside, trying to calm the racing of his mind. The hall was enormous, far bigger than any human building he had seen. Light shimmered off the walls in colors that seemed alive, flowing and pulsing like water. He could see shadows moving in strange shapes. Alien guards with long limbs and sharp eyes watched him closely, their faces unreadable. Their skin glimmered under the hall's strange light, almost like metal. Alex knew one wrong move, one sign of fear, and this would not end in conversation. A figure approached him. Taller than any human, moving gracefully, with eyes that shone like black crystals. Alex's hand did not move to his weapon, though his mind prepared for anything. The figure stopped a few meters away and tilted her head. "You are human," she said, her voice smooth, almost musical but carrying a sharpness beneath it. "Why are you here knowing what you know?" Alex smiled slightly. "I am here to talk," he said, "and if talking fails, I am here to understand. Humans do not run from danger." There was a pause. Alex felt the weight of her gaze. She was studying him as if he were a puzzle, one she could not solve easily. "Most humans die quickly," she said finally. "Your kind is weak, yet you walk here as if nothing matters, foolishness or courage." "Maybe both," Alex said. "Maybe courage is just seeing the danger and walking forward anyway. Humans have done that for centuries. We survive because we do not turn back from what scares us." She laughed softly. It was not a cruel laugh, but it carried power. "Few speak like you. Most beg for mercy. Most would kneel or retreat." She stepped closer. Alex did not move. She stopped just far enough that he could see the faint shimmer of energy around her, the invisible barrier that made her deadly. Humans could not survive her touch. Any human, including him, could die instantly if she intended it. Yet he did not step back, he only smiled. "I can kill you with one touch," she said, her voice calm but full of warning. "A kiss from me is fatal, yet you smile. Why?" "Because life is about risk," Alex replied. "What good is a long life if you are never willing to face danger? Humans understand risk. We survive it or we fail, but fear does not control us." For a moment, Zalara studied him in silence. Alex could feel the tension in the room. The guards shifted slightly, unsure. No human had ever spoken to the queen like this, not even diplomats from the strongest empires. Alex did not care about their judgment. He only cared about standing firm, showing that humans were different. "Your people are curious," she said finally. "So brave, so reckless. Why do you value life, yet seek death?" "Because the value of life is in how it is lived," Alex answered. "Humans do not measure life by its length. We measure it by what we dare to do. A short life filled with courage is worth more than a long life spent hiding." The queen tilted her head again, intrigued. She walked around him slowly, almost as if examining him like an object of art. Her skin shimmered, reflecting the colors of the hall. Alex could feel the energy in the air around her, heavy and dangerous, yet he did not move back. He felt a thrill running through his veins. Humans had faced deadly predators on Deathworlds before, had survived storms and alien beasts, had conquered impossible odds. Why should this be different? "You do not fear me," Zalara said. "You do not fear death." Curious. Almost foolish. She stopped in front of him, her face close enough that he could feel her presence like a wave of heat mixed with electricity. "Most would beg for mercy. You smile. Why?" "Because I have already chosen to face it," Alex said. "Humans are not made for comfort. We are made for challenge. We survive because we never run. Even when we might die, we stand." There was silence in the hall. Alex could hear the faint hum of energy running through the palace, the soft footsteps of guards, the shifting of light across the walls. Zalara's eyes studied him intently. Finally, she stepped back and smiled. It was a slow smile, not cruel, not kind, but full of power and intent. "Perhaps humans are more interesting than I thought," she said. "Perhaps you are worthy of my attention." Alex felt his heart race, but he kept his face calm. This was what he had hoped for. Humans had always thrived when others underestimated them. This was no different. He would show the Queen that humans were not fragile, that even when facing certain death, they could stand tall. She gestured to a hallway leading deeper into the palace. "Walk with me," she said. "But know this, one wrong step, one wrong word, and you will die. This is not a threat, it is a fact." Alex nodded. "I understand. I am here to learn. If learning means facing danger, then I accept it." The Queen studied him for a long moment. Then, with a slight nod, she began to walk. Alex followed. The hallway was long, lined with strange alien symbols that glowed faintly in the walls. The air smelled sweet, and Alex could almost feel the power radiating from the structure itself. He wondered how a species could survive such a deadly ruler, how they could live under a queen whose very touch could kill. Humans would find ways, he thought. Humans always did. As they walked, Alex asked, "How do your people survive you? Surely not all are immune to your power." Zalara smiled again faintly. "They survive because they learn fear and they respect it, but humans do not respect fear. They face it. That is why I am curious about you. You are different from anything I have seen before." Alex felt a thrill at her words. Curiosity from a being like her was more dangerous than anger. If she took an interest in him, everything could change. "Humans are always different," he said. "Maybe not always smart, maybe not always careful, but we never hide. We always face what comes, even if it kills us." They reached a large chamber at the end of the hallway. It was enormous, with ceilings so high he could barely see them. In the center, a throne floated slightly above the ground. It was made of a dark material that shimmered as if alive. The Queen gestured to it. "Sit," she said, "or remain standing, your choice." Alex considered it. Most humans would sit, showing respect or fear. He chose to remain standing. The Queen's eyes narrowed slightly, but she did not speak. She was testing him. "I have watched humans across many worlds," Zalara said, "and none have faced me like this. Most die quickly. Yet you are not afraid." "Why?" Alex smiled. "Because I know fear is a choice. Humans feel fear, yes, but we do not let it control us. We survive by deciding what matters more, fear or action. I chose action." The Queen looked at him for a long time. The room felt heavy with silence. Finally, she stepped closer, close enough that Alex could feel the energy in the air, sharp and dangerous. "You are brave or foolish. Perhaps both. Most die before they even reach this room. Yet you walk in and speak as if I am nothing." "Because you are not nothing," Alex said calmly. "You are dangerous, but humans have faced danger before and we will face it again. If I die, I die. But if I survive, we will both learn something." Zalara tilted her head as if considering this. Then, for the first time, she smiled fully. It was a smile that carried power, danger, and maybe even respect. "Perhaps this human is worth testing," she said softly. "We shall see if your courage matches your words." Alex felt his chest tighten with anticipation. Humans had always thrived in impossible situations. This was no different. He did not flinch. He only smiled back. And for the first time, Alex realized that standing in the presence of certain death did not feel like fear. It felt like opportunity. Alex followed Queen Zalara deeper into the palace. The halls seemed to go on forever, filled with strange lights that pulsed like living creatures. The walls hummed with energy, and Alex could feel it in his chest, a vibration that seemed alive. The alien guards walked silently beside them, tall and deadly, but they did not interfere. They were watching, waiting to see if he would falter. The queen stopped before a large chamber. The doors were enormous, covered in strange symbols that glowed softly. She turned to him. "Inside you will face tests," she said. "Tests of mind, body, and courage. Most humans fail before even trying. We shall see." Alex nodded. "I understand. Humans always try, even when the odds are against us." She studied him, her eyes sharp and glowing. "Your kind is strange. You are not afraid of what others fear most. You do not fight for survival alone, but for choice. Why?" "Because survival is not enough," Alex said. "Humans want meaning. We face danger not just to live, but to prove we are alive. We do not run from death. We run toward what matters." The queen smiled faintly. "Interesting. Very well, enter." She pushed the doors open, and Alex stepped into the chamber. The room was massive, its floor polished to reflect the shimmering light from above. Strange alien devices floated in the air, spinning slowly, their purpose unknown. Shadows moved along the walls, but Alex could not tell if they were real or illusions. The air smelled sweet, like flowers mixed with metal. Alex took a deep breath and stepped further in. Suddenly, the doors closed behind him with a hiss. The light shifted. The shadows on the walls seemed to move toward him, growing larger, sharper, more menacing. He took a cautious step forward. Nothing moved yet, but he could feel a presence, like eyes watching him from every direction. A voice echoed in the chamber. "Humans are fragile," it said, soft but cold. "Your kind dies quickly. Your courage is meaningless." Alex raised his chin. "I do not care how fragile humans seem," he said. "We survive, we endure, we face what others will not." The shadows shifted. From them, strange creatures emerged. Their bodies were long and thin, covered in armor like scales. Their eyes glowed red. They hissed, moving in unison toward Alex. He could see their sharp claws and teeth. His heart beat faster, but not with fear. He gripped his sidearm, though he knew it might not work. These were not enemies he could kill easily. He raised his hand slightly, showing he would not attack first. "I do not want to fight," he said. "I am here to prove my courage, not to take lives unnecessarily." The creatures stopped, tilting their heads. One of them stepped forward, lunging at him. Alex moved instinctively, dodging quickly. His training kicked in. He grabbed a small pole leaning against the wall and swung it at the creature. It hissed, recoiling, but it did not fall. Alex struck again and again, using every movement he had learned in countless human training drills. The creatures circled him, fast and deadly. He realized then that these were not real creatures. They were controlled by some alien technology, part of the test. He had to remain calm, think clearly, and move with purpose. Humans had survived impossible situations on many worlds, from death worlds filled with predators to storms that could shred ships in minutes. This was only another test, and he would not fail. Alex noticed a pattern in their movement. They attacked in waves, then paused, as if learning his reactions. He used this to his advantage, moving to higher ground on a platform floating above the floor. From there, he could see the creatures more clearly. He waited, then jumped down at the right moment, striking a creature with a powerful swing. It hissed and fell, but more appeared. Suddenly, the floor shifted. Panels moved beneath him, forming platforms and bridges that swung and tilted. The creatures followed, adjusting to every movement. Alex had to think fast. Every step could be fatal. He leapt, rolled, and balanced, using every skill he had. His body ached, but he kept going. Humans had survived worse. He would not stop now. After what felt like hours, the creatures finally stopped. The lights in the room shifted back to a soft glow, and the chamber became still. Alex stood in the center, breathing heavily, his clothes torn and dirtied, sweat running down his face. He looked around, seeing that the test was complete. The creatures dissolved into shadows, leaving no trace of their presence. The doors opened behind him, and Queen Zalara stepped in. Her eyes glowed softly as she studied him. "You did not die," she said, her voice calm. "Most would have fallen within minutes, yet you endured. Why?" "Because humans do not give up," Alex said. "We face danger and keep going. If we fail, we learn. If we survive, we grow stronger. Fear does not stop us. It only teaches us." She smiled, a slow smile that seemed to hold both amusement and respect. "You are not like any human I have seen. You feel fear, yes, but you do not let it control you. Remarkable. Perhaps that is why you still stand." Alex nodded. "Humans have always survived against impossible odds. We do not always win, but we always try. That is what matters." The Queen's gaze softened slightly. She stepped closer, and Alex could feel the power radiating from her. It was dangerous, almost overwhelming, but he did not step back. He met her gaze steadily. "You could kill me," he said. "One touch and it would be over. Yet I am here alive. Why?" "Because I am curious," she said. "I want to see how far your courage goes." "Most humans die before they understand what courage truly is. You may teach me something." Alex smiled faintly. "Humans always learn. We survive, we adapt, we face danger again and again. Perhaps that is why we are still here, after all the challenges the galaxy has thrown at us." She walked around him slowly, observing him. "You are strong, clever, and unafraid. Few possess all three. Most humans fail at one. You succeed at all. It is fascinating." Alex felt a thrill run through him. This was more than survival now. This was recognition from a being who had seen centuries of conquest and death. He had faced what most could not even imagine and stood firm. "There is one final part of your test," the Queen said. "A part that will measure your mind, not just your body. If you pass, you may earn my true attention. Fail, and your life is at my mercy." Alex nodded. "I understand. Humans always accept challenges, even impossible ones. We face them head-on." She gestured to a large console in the room, covered with symbols and buttons that glowed faintly. "Solve this and prove your intelligence. Fail, and you will see how quickly a human can die when confronted with something beyond understanding." Alex stepped forward. He studied the symbols carefully. At first, they made no sense. They were not like any human language or code he had seen before. The patterns seemed random, shifting as he looked at them. Yet he remembered what humans had always done in the past. When facing impossible problems, they broke them down into small steps, understood the rules, and acted logically. He touched one symbol lightly. It changed color. Another symbol shifted. Alex realized the symbols responded to thought patterns and logic. He experimented carefully, pressing in patterns, observing reactions. Minutes passed, then hours. He worked tirelessly, adjusting, thinking, planning. Humans had solved impossible puzzles before. They had mapped unknown worlds, navigated deadly storms, and survived alien predators by using logic and patience. This was no different. Finally, a section of the console glowed brightly. A hidden panel opened, revealing a small object, a gem-like crystal that pulsed with light. Alex picked it up. The chamber fell silent. He had solved it. The Queen watched him, her eyes wide with a mixture of surprise and respect. "You have done well," she said finally. "Few could understand the patterns, fewer could act correctly. Humans are remarkable. Perhaps not for strength alone, but for perseverance and thought. You have shown me both. Alex placed the crystal carefully in his pocket. Humans do not give up. We do not stop. We face every challenge, even when others would run. That is what makes us strong. The queen studied him closely. You are different, she said softly. Not many humans survive what you have faced today. Few could endure both physical danger and mental trials without breaking. Yet you remain. Perhaps your kind is stronger than I thought. Alex nodded. We are. Humans face the impossible because we have no choice. The galaxy does not wait. Danger is always present. We survive by standing up even when we could fall. The queen smiled faintly. It was a smile that carried approval and curiosity. Perhaps this human will teach me more than I expected. Few creatures have the courage, strength, and mind to survive my tests. You are exceptional. Alex felt a surge of pride, but he remained calm. Humans never showed arrogance in front of power. They stood firm, but always measured their actions. He had survived the Queen's tests, but he knew the real challenge was yet to come. This is only the beginning, he said quietly to himself. Humans survive, adapt, and face every danger. We will see what comes next. The Queen watched him for a long moment, then gestured toward another door that led deeper into the palace. Come, she said. The true test begins soon. Only now do you meet what challenges both body and mind in equal measure. Alex followed, knowing that humans had faced impossible odds before. He would face them again. This was what humans did. They smiled at danger, stepped forward, and endured. And no alien queen, no matter how powerful, would stop them from proving their strength. Alex stepped through the next doorway, and the air changed immediately. It was warmer, heavier, almost as if the room itself was alive. A low hum vibrated through the floor, rising up into his chest. The walls were smooth and reflective, but the reflections were not exact. They showed moving images, scenes he had never seen before. Some were from alien worlds, some from human history, and some were things he could not recognize at all. He felt a shiver, but he did not step back. Humans had always faced the unknown. This was only another test. Queen Zalara followed him silently. Her eyes glowed faintly in the dim light. She moved with grace, her presence powerful yet calm. This chamber tests more than body or mind, she said softly. It tests your spirit, your courage, your ability to endure what most cannot even imagine. Alex nodded. I am ready. Humans face danger every day. We survive even when others fail. We do not give up, she smiled faintly. Words are easy, actions are difficult. We shall see. She stepped to the center of the chamber and the light shifted. Suddenly, the reflections in the walls coalesced into moving shapes, figures of beings from across the galaxy. Some looked humanoid, others insect-like, others like walking stones with glowing veins. All of them stared at Alex, their eyes filled with hostility. He realized that these were illusions, but they felt real. The room was testing him, pushing him to face fear itself. A figure stepped forward from the images. It was a massive creature, with claws long enough to pierce armor and eyes that burned red. It lunged at Alex. Without thinking, he rolled to the side and grabbed a metal rod leaning against the wall. He swung it, striking the creature. It vanished, replaced by another, faster and more vicious. The illusions kept coming, each one testing his speed, his skill, his courage. Alex moved carefully but quickly. He had been trained for extreme situations, but nothing had prepared him for something that felt both real and unreal at the same time. The chamber seemed to respond to his fear. When he hesitated, the illusions attacked harder. When he acted with confidence, they paused, testing him in new ways. Focus, he whispered to himself. Fear is only a thought. Humans survive by acting, not by hiding. He dodged, struck, rolled, and ran, using every skill he had. Sweat ran down his face and his muscles ached, but he did not stop. He realized the test was teaching him something important. That fear existed only to be overcome. Humans had always faced predators, storms, and impossible odds. This chamber was only another challenge, and humans always face challenges. Suddenly, the illusions changed. The massive creatures disappeared, replaced by humans. Some were laughing, some were crying, some were injured, begging for help. Alex felt his heart tighten. The chamber was showing him his own kind, making him feel fear and doubt, testing his emotional strength. He could hear their voices, faint whispers calling his name, begging him to run, to leave, to save them. Alex shook his head. "I cannot let fear control me," he said. "Humans survive by standing. We do not abandon what matters, we face it." He stepped forward, pushing through the illusions. They attacked again, but he remained calm. He struck with precision, moving with speed and purpose. Humans had survived impossible situations before. He would survive this. Queen Zalara watched silently from the edge of the chamber. She had not spoken, but Alex could feel her presence, sharp and dangerous. She was studying him, testing not just his courage, but his heart, his spirit, his humanity. Few creatures could endure what he was enduring, and none of her subjects had ever done it before. As Alex moved deeper into the chamber, the illusions became more personal. He saw his family, friends he had lost, moments of failure and regret. The room tested his emotional strength, forcing him to face pain he had buried. His chest tightened, and for a moment he felt doubt. Could he survive this? He took a deep breath. Humans had always faced loss, failure, and despair. It did not stop them. He focused on what mattered: survival, courage, and purpose. He would not falter. He moved forward, ignoring the whispers, striking the illusions as they appeared, breaking through the fear the chamber tried to force upon him. Suddenly, the illusions stopped. The room was silent. Alex stood in the center, breathing heavily, his heart pounding. He looked around, realizing he had made it through the emotional test. He had faced fear, loss, and doubt, and he had not broken. Humans survived because they did not give in to despair. He had proven that. Queen Zalara stepped forward. Her eyes glowed with faint admiration. "Few survive this part," she said softly. "Even fewer do not break under pressure. Humans, you are remarkable. Your courage is not just in body but in heart. You endure what others flee from." Alex nodded, catching his breath. "Humans always endure. We face what comes even when we could fail. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is moving forward even when fear is present." She smiled, faintly, almost approvingly. "You are different from what I expected. Most humans fail. You do not. Your kind is stronger than I imagined." He felt a surge of pride, but he kept his expression calm. Humans never showed arrogance in front of power. They stood firm, measured, and patient. "Humans survive by standing, by facing danger, by not giving up," he said. "We may be fragile in body, but our spirit is unbreakable." The queen moved closer. Alex could feel her energy, sharp and dangerous, yet strangely compelling. "I am curious," she said. "Few beings have survived what you have faced. Most die before completing even one test. You endure all. Why?" "Because humans face danger every day," Alex said. "We survive storms, predators, wars, and impossible odds. We endure because we must, because giving up is not an option. Courage is built in the face of danger. We do not hide. We do not retreat. We face it and we grow stronger." She studied him for a long moment. "You are brave, clever, and strong," she said. "Most creatures possess one, some two. You possess all three. It is rare." Alex felt a thrill. He had faced physical, mental, and emotional challenges, and he had stood firm. Humans had always thrived in impossible situations. He was proud, but he did not show it openly. Humans always measured their reactions. He kept calm, steady, and focused. "There is one final challenge in this chamber," the queen said. "It is not physical or mental. It is a test of your courage in the face of death itself. Many humans would die here. Few survive." We shall see," Alex nodded. "Humans survive because we face death. We do not fear it. We endure, we learn, and we grow stronger. If this is the final challenge, I accept it." The queen gestured and the walls shifted again. The images disappeared, replaced by a single figure, her. Queen Zalara herself, standing in the center of the chamber, her face calm, her eyes glowing. Alex realized that this was the final test. She herself, the being whose touch could kill, whose kiss was fatal. "You have faced fear, pain, and loss," she said. "You have proven courage, strength, and spirit. Now face me. One wrong move, one sign of hesitation, and you die." Alex took a deep breath. Humans had faced death countless times. They had survived predators, storms, wars, and poisons. This was no different. He stepped forward, meeting her gaze steadily. "I am ready," he said. "Humans face danger even when death is certain. We endure because that is who we are." Queen Zalara smiled faintly. "Most humans would fall here, yet you stand. Perhaps your courage is beyond even what I imagined." Alex moved closer. He felt the energy around her, the danger in every breath. But he did not flinch. Humans had always faced impossible odds. They survived because they did not run. He met her gaze steadily, ready for whatever came next. And in that moment, he realized something important. Humans survived not because they were the strongest, not because they were the fastest, but because they refused to give in to fear. They faced danger, smiled at it, and endured. And he would continue to endure, no matter what the queen did next. The chamber was silent, filled only with the hum of energy, and Alex stood firm, ready to prove that humans, even in the face of death itself, could never be broken. Alex took a deep breath and faced Queen Zalara. The room was silent except for the low hum of energy in the walls. He could feel her power, dangerous and sharp like a blade pressed against his chest. Her eyes glowed softly, and he knew that one wrong move, one hesitation, could end his life instantly. Yet he did not step back. Humans had always faced impossible odds and survived. He would survive this too. Queen Zalara smiled slowly. "You have endured every test so far. Few creatures have survived even one. You have survived all. Now the true test begins. A kiss from me could kill you instantly. Most would die without even knowing what hit them." Alex held his ground. "I understand. Humans face danger every day. Death is part of life. We do not fear it. We endure and we grow stronger." Her smile widened faintly as if she enjoyed the defiance. "Words are easy. Actions are harder." "Will you still smile when you know death is near?" Alex met her gaze steadily. "I do not fear what comes. Humans survive because we do not give in to fear. If death comes, so be it. But I will face it without retreat." The queen stepped closer. Alex could feel the energy in the air intensify. It was suffocating, almost electric. He felt his heart race, his muscles tense, but he did not flinch. He had faced storms on death worlds, alien predators, and war. He had survived impossible puzzles and illusions meant to break him. This was only another challenge, and he would not fail. Zalara extended her hand, delicate and beautiful, yet deadly. The air around it shimmered. Alex could see the faint outline of the lethal energy that could stop a human heart in an instant. He knew the legends were true. One touch could end him. One kiss could make him die within seconds. Yet he did not step back. He smiled slightly. "You are brave," she said softly, her voice smooth and powerful. "Perhaps too brave. Most would beg for mercy. You do not. Why?" "Because humans always stand," Alex replied. "We survive by facing danger. We endure because we must. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is moving forward even when fear is present." She studied him, tilting her head. "Humans are strange, most flee, most beg, yet you smile, foolishness or courage." "Maybe both," Alex said calmly. "But humans survive by acting, not by running. We face what comes and we endure. That is why I smile." Zalara laughed softly, a sound that carried power and danger. "Then prepare, human. This is the moment most die." She leaned closer, and Alex could feel the energy in her body pressing against him, heavy and sharp. The room seemed to shrink. The walls pulsed with light and the hum of energy grew louder, vibrating through his chest. His heart pounded, but he did not move. Humans had survived worse. He would survive this. She touched his shoulder lightly. The energy flared. Alex felt a sharp pain, like fire running through his veins. His body trembled, but he did not fall. He gritted his teeth and focused. Humans had always endured pain. They had survived wounds, poisons, storms, and fire. This was no different. He could feel the poison in her touch trying to stop his heart, trying to paralyze him, but he forced himself to stay upright. Zalara's eyes widened slightly. "Interesting," she said softly. "Most humans would collapse instantly, yet you endure. Remarkable." She moved closer, her face near his. Alex could see the faint shimmer of her lips, the legend of the fatal kiss. Most beings would have turned away, begging for mercy. Most would have fallen, paralyzed by fear. Alex did not. He stared into her eyes steadily. Humans had always faced impossible odds. This was only another challenge, and humans never backed down. "The kiss will be fatal," Zalara said softly. "One touch and you die. Still you smile. Why?" "Because I know who I am," Alex replied. "Humans endure. We face danger even when it could kill us. We survive because we refuse to give in. If this ends me, then so be it. But I will not flinch." The queen paused, studying him. Then slowly she pressed her lips to his. Alex felt a shock of energy, sharp and burning, running through his body. Pain lanced through him and his vision blurred. His legs wobbled, his heart felt heavy. The poison in her kiss was real, deadly, and he could feel it spreading through him. Most humans would have died instantly. Most would have fallen without even a thought. But Alex did not die. He gritted his teeth, focusing every ounce of strength in his body. Humans had always survived impossible odds. He forced his heart to beat, forcing his body to endure the poison. Sweat poured down his face, his muscles trembled, but he stood firm. He could feel the energy of the queen's touch trying to crush him, trying to stop him, but he refused to break. Zalara pulled back, her eyes wide with surprise. She had expected him to collapse instantly, yet he stood, bloodied and trembling but alive. She studied him closely. You are alive," she whispered. "I did not expect this. Most would die." Alex straightened, wiping sweat from his forehead. He smiled faintly, weakly, but with pride. "Humans endure," he said softly. "We survive because we face what others flee from. We do not give up. We stand." The queen's expression changed, a mix of surprise, respect, and curiosity. She stepped back slightly, still studying him. "Remarkable," she said finally. "Humans, you are not like any other creature I have encountered. Your courage, strength, and endurance are extraordinary." Alex felt a surge of pride, but he remained calm. Humans never showed arrogance in front of power. They stood measured, steady, and patient. "Humans survive," he said. "We face danger, we endure pain, we do not flee. That is why we still stand." Zalara studied him silently for a long moment. Then she nodded slowly. "You have proven what most cannot. Few beings would survive this test. Even fewer would stand after the kiss. You have earned my attention." Alex nodded, breathing heavily. The poison in her kiss was still in his body, but he could feel it fading slowly. Humans had survived worse poisons, worse injuries, worse pain. They endured because they refused to give in. He had survived the queen's deadliest test. "Your spirit is strong," Zalara said finally. "Stronger than most of my kind. Few beings could endure what you have endured. Humans, perhaps your kind is more dangerous than I imagined." Alex smiled faintly. "Humans survive because we face danger. We endure because we must. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is moving forward even when fear is present. That is why we stand." The queen's expression softened slightly. "You are brave, clever, and strong. Most creatures possess one, some two. You possess all three. It is rare." Alex felt a thrill, but he remained calm. Humans had always survived impossible odds. They stood firm in the face of danger. He would continue to do so. "This is only the beginning," the Queen said softly. "You have survived my tests, but the galaxy will test you further. Humans, you may yet surprise me again." Alex nodded. "Humans survive. We endure. We face danger and we do not give up. That is who we are, and we will continue to endure no matter what comes next." Zalara studied him for a long moment. Then, with a faint smile, she turned and gestured toward the palace doors. "Come," she said. "The galaxy watches, and your journey is only beginning. Humans, perhaps you are worthy of more than I expected." Alex followed, knowing that humans had survived worse, faced impossible odds, and always stood tall. This was only another challenge, and humans never ran from what they could endure. They smiled at danger, faced death, and endured. And he would continue to do the same. No matter what the galaxy threw at him, Alex stood in the vast hall of Queen Zalara's palace, his body still trembling from the poison of her kiss, but his spirit unbroken. The Queen watched him closely, her eyes glowing softly, full of curiosity and something he could not name, respect, perhaps even admiration. The silence in the room was heavy, almost sacred. It was a moment of truth, the final test that would decide not only his fate but perhaps the fate of humans in her eyes. "You have endured every test," the Queen said softly. "You have faced danger, pain, fear, and death, yet you remain standing. Most beings would have died long ago. Humans, you are remarkable." Alex took a deep breath, feeling the poison in his veins fading slowly. "Humans survive," he said quietly, his voice steady. "We endure because we must. We face danger, we accept risk, and we do not give up. That is who we are. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is moving forward even when fear is present." Zalara studied him for a long moment, then nodded. "Perhaps the galaxy has underestimated your kind. Humans, you are more than I imagined. Few creatures face death as you do. Fewer still survive it and continue to stand." Alex met her gaze steadily. "We survive because we choose to. Humans have always survived impossible odds. We endure storms, wars, predators, and poisons. We face what others cannot. We adapt. We fight. We stand again even when everything is against us." The Queen tilted her head slightly, a faint smile touching her lips. "Words are easy. Actions are harder. Yet you have proven both. You endured pain, faced illusions, and survived my kiss. Humans, perhaps you are more dangerous than even I imagined." Alex felt a surge of pride, but he kept calm. Humans never showed arrogance in the presence of power. They stood firm, measured, and patient. "We do not seek danger," he said, "but we do not run from it either. We endure because we must. Courage is a choice, and humans choose it every day." Zalara stepped closer, her presence overwhelming, yet compelling. She circled him slowly, as if weighing him, her fingers brushing faintly against the air near him, sending small shivers through his body. "Few creatures could endure all I have put you through," she said softly. "Most die quickly. Some survive only to break under the weight of fear and doubt. Yet you stand tall. Your courage is extraordinary." Alex nodded, keeping his posture steady. "Humans endure because we have no choice. Danger is always present. Life is never simple, yet we stand. We survive. We fight, and we never give up. That is why we endure." For the first time, Zalara's smile widened fully. It was no longer sharp or dangerous, but soft and real. "You are unlike any being I have ever met," she said. "Your kind, your courage, your resilience, it is inspiring. Perhaps humans are not as fragile as the galaxy believes." Alex felt a thrill run through him. Humans had always been underestimated. From the first steps off Earth to the exploration of alien worlds, humans had survived impossible odds. And now, before one of the deadliest beings in the galaxy, he stood tall, proving that courage and endurance were stronger than fear. "Your kingdom is vast," Alex said carefully. "Yet humans have faced bigger challenges. We survive where others fail. We endure what others cannot." And we do not stop. We never run from danger. That is who we are. Zalara's eyes glowed softly, almost warmly. Few creatures speak with such certainty in the face of death, she said. Yet you speak as though it is a fact. Humans, your kind is extraordinary. Perhaps it is time the galaxy recognizes this. Alex smiled faintly. Humans had always survived, even when all odds were against them. We have endured wars, death worlds, alien predators, and poisons that would kill most creatures. We survive because we do not give in to fear. We endure because we must. That is why humans stand. The Queen circled him again, her gaze sharp and calculating. Humans are fearless or foolish. Most die trying to prove themselves. Yet you stand. How? Because humans never give up, Alex said simply. We face what comes. We endure what others flee. Courage is a choice and we choose it. That is why we survive. Zalara stopped and faced him fully. The energy around her pulsed softly. I have seen centuries of conquest, she said. I have ruled over beings that fear me. I have tested warriors, diplomats, and scholars. Few endure even half of what you have faced. Humans, you have proven something remarkable. Your kind is stronger than I imagined. Alex felt the weight of her words. This was no simple recognition. This was respect from one of the deadliest beings in the galaxy. Humans had always earned respect the hard way, by enduring, by surviving, by proving their courage. And now he had done the same before the Queen herself. Your courage is admirable, Zalara said softly. Most beings would have died, yet you remain. Humans, perhaps your kind deserves more than we have given you. Perhaps the galaxy must see what you are capable of. Alex nodded. Humans survive because we endure. We face danger, we accept risk, and we never give up. That is who we are. That is why we stand, even in the face of death itself. The Queen studied him for a long moment, then took a deep breath. I have ruled for centuries, she said. I have conquered worlds, tested beings, and claimed loyalty. Yet humans, your courage, your endurance, your spirit, it is unlike anything I have ever seen. I respect you, and I acknowledge your kind. Alex felt a thrill run through him. Humans had always been underestimated. From the first settlers on Earth to the far reaches of the galaxy, they had survived impossible odds. Now, before Queen Zalara, he had proven that humans were not fragile, not weak, but strong, resilient, and unstoppable. You have earned my attention, Zalara said finally. Humans, the galaxy will watch. Your kind will be respected, feared, and admired. You have shown me that courage, endurance, and spirit are more powerful than strength or technology. Humans, you are remarkable. Alex nodded, feeling pride and determination. Humans survive because we face danger, endure pain, and never give up. We will continue to do so, no matter what the galaxy throws at us. That is who we are, and that is why we stand. Zalara studied him silently for a long moment. Then she stepped closer, and for the first time her hand brushed his lightly. There was no poison, no danger, only acknowledgement. You are alive, she said softly. You have proven that humans endure what others cannot. Perhaps it is time the galaxy recognized your kind. Humans, you are stronger than even I imagined. Alex smiled faintly. Humans had always survived. They had faced storms, wars, predators, and impossible odds. They had endured what others could not. And now, before one of the deadliest beings in the galaxy, he had stood tall, proving that courage and resilience were stronger than fear. Thank you, he said quietly. Humans endure. We face danger, we accept risk, and we never give up. We survive because that is who we are. And we will continue to endure no matter what comes next. Zalara nodded slowly. The galaxy will know, she said softly. Humans, your kind is remarkable. Your courage, endurance, and spirit are extraordinary. I respect you. And I will ensure that others recognize your strength. Alex felt a surge of pride. Humans had always earned respect the hard way, by enduring, by surviving, by proving their courage. Now, They had earned recognition from one of the most feared beings in the galaxy. "Humans stand," Alex said quietly. "We endure, we face danger, we survive, and we never give up. That is why we are here, that is why we endure." Zalara smiled faintly. "And endure you shall," she said. "Humans, the galaxy will watch. Your kind is extraordinary." "And you have proven it today." Alex nodded. He had survived impossible odds. He had faced death itself and endured. Humans had always been underestimated, but now, before Queen Zalara, they had proven their courage, strength, and resilience. The galaxy would never see them the same way again. He felt the weight of responsibility, but also pride. Humans survived because they faced danger, because they endured, because they never gave up. They stood tall when others fell, smiled at death when others feared it, and continued forward when others would retreat. And Alex had proven that, in the presence of one of the deadliest beings in the galaxy, humans were unstoppable. The Queen stepped back, allowing him to move freely. "Go," she said softly, "and show the galaxy what humans are capable of. Your courage, endurance, and spirit will be remembered. Humans, you are extraordinary." Alex nodded, feeling determination and pride. Humans had always survived impossible odds. Now they would continue to do so. They would endure, they would fight, and they would stand tall, no matter what the galaxy threw at them. And he, Alex Carter, had proven it. As he left the palace, he knew one thing for certain. Humans were no longer just survivors. They were warriors of courage, masters of endurance, and beings the galaxy would never underestimate again. They would face danger, accept risk, and continue to endure. And they would do so with a smile, even in the face of death itself. The galaxy had witnessed it. The Queen had witnessed it. And humans would continue to stand always, no matter what came next.